Shortly. So Carlton is an exercise in patience, frustration, faith, depending on your perspective. Again, they crafted a winning position which they weren't able to take. They couldn't take it against the much vaunted Bulldogs. And the frustration is evidence for the promised rise which just refuses for the moment to materialise.
Are we where we want to be? No. We want to be in a top 4 team and give yourself the best chance, give yourself a second chance going into finals. So that's where we're going. I have confidence that we'll get there, but we're not there now. It's as simple as that. We've got to get better. We've got to get a bit better in the contest in certain times, and we've got to be able to probably set up a bit better defensively. I thought there was also some good plays where we just didn't finish the plays as well going forward. Some kicks inside 50 early in the game. We look like we're out. So I think all 3 phases of the game is still a work in progress. And, yeah, right now we're not good enough. It's as simple as that.
So last week it was our best, it will be good enough to compete with the best, and this week, having failed that test this time around, we're not good enough yet. So I've got split feelings on this. The first one...
So have I.
The first one is that if you roll the dice on shootout footy, what Justin Leppich calls our turn, your turn, you are vulnerable to the 8-goal wave which came crashing down on them. And you could see it from about 1 goal in that it was coming for them. And that's not a great position to be in. The second part to it is this is the torturous journey of accrued experience, and the experience is only ever garnered through failure. Submit to the challenge, fail it, learn from it, submit to the challenge. They weren't there for it yesterday. So half of me feels like that's because they are defensively unsound, not their key posts, the way that they play, and they are especially vulnerable to what happened yesterday. And part of me feels like they will continue to submit, and soon enough they will figure this out. And it might be next week against Melbourne, or it might be 4 weeks down the track, or it might be the end of the season. It might devastatingly be the start of next season.
It could be.
But that one day they'll figure it out.
I'm actually more in the last statement you said there. I'm not a Carlton fan. I don't know how. Actually, I do, because I got calls this morning from Carlton friends. I heard a little bit of your radio today. It's always good to wake up on a Monday morning and listen to Carlton people over the last couple of years. They go off their heads. Everyone's to blame. Sack Teague, get rid of the Gurdashay now. It's just turmoil. That game yesterday, we changed our pages at about 6 o'clock yesterday, Jared, the tackle, wherever it is. We changed it. Because at one stage I was writing, God, has Melbourne got the best bookends in the country with Harry Mackay and Jacob Wettering? They still may. It's what happens between the bookends when the pressure comes on. It's like the game gets ramped up, and it's right, get in your cars and let's go. And one car takes off, and Carlton missed the clutch. But then they're sort of catching up and they're just gone. So where's the problem? Everyone talks about their defensive strategies. Are they working? You know, sometimes you look at the midfield and say, really, they went up against a great midfield on a great deck, and they were found wanting the midfield, which puts the defence under enormous pressure. You know how the dogs swarm. The Carlton defence, I'm positive, were yelling out to their midfielders, "Who's on him? Will someone get on Caleb Daniel?" He had 11 in the last quarter, Caleb. This is, I'm sure, the defence was yelling out. Bontempelli, can someone just watch Bontempelli? It all fell apart. But I think, as bad as it is, they'll finally get there. But they spent a lot of money on 2 players who aren't earning their check at the moment.
And the game changed too quickly.
Yeah,
so
it did.
The long journey is that. But they did have... The Bulldogs, for a long period of time, seemed to have no spark, and it didn't seem like it was about to ignite. And then when it ignited, Carlton could do nothing about it until it was far too... Well, actually, they didn't do anything about it.
They do have
the remainder of the game.
They do have a lot of igniters. And our friend Adam Treloar's goal in the third quarter was pivotal of keeping the Dogs in the run. So they got a sniff. So they come in at 3/4 time. I know I talk about the mentality sometimes. So they come in at 3/4 time. So what's Beveridge saying to his team? And what's
I tell you what's
Teague saying to Carlton?
What's in everyone's mind with Carlton at the moment is they give you a chance.
Oh, they'll fold.
They will give you a chance.
Yep,
and
no
so
doubt.
that's what has to be rectified.
Yep.
And the question, so this is the great imponderable with them at the moment. Is it a fatal flaw or is it the growing pains?
No, I think it's the growing pains. I really do. It can turn, but they've got to do something. But it can turn. They were pretty hard at the contest yesterday. They really were. But when it happened, and I was just talking to Nicky Del Santo, who was on the show before us, about it. And it's not my idea. Can I name drop a little bit?
Yeah.
Good. I had to speak to Greg Williams coming in the car tonight about something, and he said to me, I hope I can say this, Greg, if you're watching. He goes, even Sam Walsh looked tired. I have not seen Sam Walsh look tired all this year, and Carlton looked really tired. There was just no energy, you know, but that's what happens when the momentum goes, etc., etc. They need more depth in there. Zach Williams is not working there. He's got to go back. He just has to go back. So they've got to go under, Sam Petrevski-Seton back into the middle from the half-back? These are the decisions they have to be made, but I don't think Petrevski-Seton's brilliant at defending the middle of the ground either. So they've got some holes there.
They do.
But they've got some offence.
Yeah, Aaron Mackay. So, but you can't ask more of Weitering and Jones at the moment, and you couldn't have asked more from Mackay and Betts, and you can't need 22 things to go right to win.
No.
With what they've got going, they should be able to find a better way than they are.
What's the biggest problem? What's the biggest problem if you're coaching a team? What's the biggest problem? Struggling to kick goals, right? You're coughing up 7 and 8 a week, or struggling to stop goals. So you've got to look at I think, glass up. We are kicking goals.
Yeah.
Right? But we've got to continue that. But they've got to work on that, don't they?
Yeah.
And I'm sure everyone will talk about it all week. People smarter than me will work out what they're doing wrong, and we'll go from there.